This campus to me looks like what I dream about when I think about a classic university campus.
Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Karen sees the silver sun. You best walk her away and watch it shining. Watch her.
When you say you're at Chapel Hill, people think you're in paradise.
A silver tear appearing now. I'm crying, ain't I? I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. Whisper something soft and kind. And hey, babe, the sky's on fire. I'm dying, ain't I?
Whenever I go away from it, I come back and I feel secure and I feel excited about being back in Chapel Hill.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine?
It's such a friendly place. The people here are so kind and they're nice. And when I came to visit on the campus, I would never forget how people would smile at you and just say hello.
Chapel Hill is the kind of place that even though the faces are different, it never changes. It's always that special feeling that you get walking into Keeney Stadium. The sky is a beautiful shade of blue. It's just a wonderful place to know that you can come home to.
Tell me where you can go and you can see everybody that you know 40 years ago and still have a good time, still get the feeling of Chapel Hill and the Carolina spirit. I don't think you can do it anywhere else.
Any time that I can come to Chapel Hill, I will come because I don't know what it is about it. It just seems to have a spirit that grows on you and it makes you feel so good. And I stay here at the Carolina Inn and walk across campus and the old well, the bell tower, Keenan Stadium. And I go by the old gymnasium down there. It was Woolen Gym then. It's still there, and at practice fields and Franklin Street.
I'm brought back here by the university every spring. I mean, I chose the spring because I love the dogwood and all the various flowers that are so abundant here. But I get a great kick out of visiting the classes and exchanging thoughts and ideas with the students. In fact, it's a kind of nourishment to me to associate myself briefly with these wonderful young people here at the campus.
Sunshine came along with thee, and swallows in the air.
Every time I come back to Chapel Hill, I can't help but feel a little nostalgic. Walking through the campus, seeing the buildings where I left a little blood and sweat, and to see all the students walking around, generating all that energy that makes Chapel Hill so special.
As a faculty member, it is so rewarding to see the mixing of people from the small towns, the big cities of the state, and as well as people from around the country, and see that when they come here, they become part of the student body, part of the traditions of the university, and that they hopefully catch some of the spirit that helps to, I think, influence a lot of the students and the faculty to want to do the very best job that they can, day in and day out.
Chapel Hill is still a very magical place, and most of my friends who graduated from here that have not yet come back to the Triangle area, when they come to visit, feel very envious of my having made the return.
It's just a wonderful blend of past and present and future here. You see the future of the young people. Alumni who don't come back here periodically, even just to walk around, are missing a great bit.
And as much as we grow, some things stay the same. I still think that this is a place with a spirit that is a lot older, richer than any of the change and trends that you see in 5 or 6 year periods.
The enduring character of the university remains, and no matter how it shifts or what you do about this program or that program, the enduring values of being the citadel of the sense of this country, the citadel of freedom and individual rights, all of that remains, and all of that's in good health at Chapel Hill.
I was talking with a young man a couple of days ago in my office, And he said, I'm sitting in a seminar with 10 people every Wednesday from 7 to 10, something of this sort. He says, it's the most exciting 3 hours I have ever had in my life.
Anybody else come across the British as investors in their reading? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? I was at a gathering of students interested in Latin America, and they said they wanted to take a course with me on Latin America before they graduated. And I said, well, if you can get a group together, we'll do it informally. Well, they took me up on it, and by the end of the fall semester, they had a group of 7 students, Latin American Studies majors, who wanted to take this seminar, and so we created one. You got to fence the land. Now, if you're fencing the land, 2 things are happening. First of all, you're defining the ownership of the land.
But my impression of the UNC student now is very high. I think they get brighter every year. I think the high schools have gotten better. They come better prepared, and they come more interested, I think, in the things that we have to offer.
The best students I teach here, I would bet, are as good as any of the students anywhere in the nation. To teach them is one of the most stimulating occupations I can imagine doing.
To get its present value.
Look what Billy's doing here. Cast your mind back to that fundamentals model value of the stock market. And remember, you're supposed to discount those dividends, huh?
What makes it distinctive to come here is that you're going to be taught by faculty who are themselves creating knowledge, who are writing the books, who are doing the experiments, who are creating the artwork, who are building new computer designs, whatever it may be.
Some of our colleagues are absolutely outstanding, and the opportunity to participate as an undergraduate in fundamental research at this level is incredibly unique.
So I think that you could do something similar here. Okay, I mean, these are really 2 different notions, right? One is generalizing this to different thicknesses, and the other is doing arbitrary cuts.
It's a great research institution which combines a great sensitivity to teaching. There are not very many major research institutions that do that. In my department, for example, political science, we're nationally ranked in research, but we also have received 17 distinguished undergraduate teaching awards.
Now, something else that we haven't talked about, and that's music, and what part music plays in the healing process. Did anybody by chance write on that?
A lot of the healing that was going on, like with Minnie, her and her old wife really connected to music because
I like teaching, and I think I'm a very good teacher. Anything that I have spent a bit of time writing on invariably gets into my notes, gets into my discussion in class, and that's an ongoing process.
I went out to lunch last weekend with my Shakespeare professor, and I sat there thinking, this is a dean of the general college. This isn't a man I should know one-on-one, and yet he's interested in what I'm doing, where I'm going on this campus, what I'm doing next year.
Everything is heard. We have 24-hour news now that grabs these things, fires them out to Iowa, or fires them back.
I'm really learning to want to learn, and the extracurriculars that supplement my academic activities are really helping that.
There's a lot of diversity that's really made my experience at this university special. It's academically challenging and stimulating. There's an intellectual atmosphere. There's cultural opportunities on the university itself and in the town. And social activities and opportunities that you can take advantage of. There are lots of different ways to grow at this university, not strictly academically.
Everything has to be articulated, and don't get louder. The winds have the other theme. Please, 1, 2.
In my 4 years here of living, of being a student, of going to class, of interacting with different people, I've obtained a broader sense of myself. I've expanded my insight and knowledge of a lot of different things that I think are necessary when you leave Carolina.
What I'll be taking away from Carolina is a well-roundedness that I don't think I might have found at other universities.
My experience at Carolina is the greatest thing in my life so far. When I graduate from Carolina, as far as I go, distance or age-wise, I know I'll always be involved in Carolina.
One of the things that strikes not only me but other people who come into North Carolina and into this university is the strength of alumni feeling for it. That is something I think that has got to continue.
For an institution to be considered a top-flight institution, it must have highly motivated and well-trained faculty and staff. In order to do that, then salaries and other forms of compensation have to be on a par. They have to be competitive. To achieve the level of excellence that it desires to achieve, it has got to have a substantial amount of alumni support.
We're in a national market, an international market, and there are a lot of other universities out there who would like to take those people at this faculty who have a reputation as good teachers and good researchers and hire them away.
But if we're going to continue to have a great university, then we're going to have to provide additional funds for our fellowships for our professors, for scholarships, and for all sorts of support that falls outside of state support. And whether it's a few dollars or a whole lot of dollars, all of the dollars count.
The university educational mission is the main part of what we're all about. And I think what has happened, I know when they had this dedication to this arena, the funds were going to arts and sciences, and that's the way it should be.
If you want to know how important the university is, for just a moment, try to conceive this state without it.
The soul of our Carolina is as comforting and peaceful as ever. The beauty of the campus still beckons and inspires and challenges. The excitement of vital teaching, the challenge of cutting-edge research, the commitment to distinguished public service endure as this great university's mission and its pledge. For almost 200 years we have come to Chapel Hill. And while most of us brought neither wealth nor exalted position, we brought curiosity and a quest for opportunity. To be worthy of such high expectations, we must face with frankness, candor, and commitment the arduous challenges of the coming decades. Competition for faculty and students never has been greater. The imperative for world-class libraries and laboratories and classrooms annually grows more critical. Our obligation to keep pace with and be among America's greatest universities is a promise we embrace for future generations and for ourselves. The need for strong and continuing private sector financial support never has been more pressing, never more essential. As alumni, we share a precious asset. We are always welcome in Chapel Hill, and in our hearts, we know we are at home there. It is a blessing shared. It is our legacy.
Sometimes when the springtime comes and the sifting moonlight falls, they'll think again of this night here and these old brown walls, of white old well, and of old South with bells' deep booming tone. They'll think again of Chapel Hill, and thinking, come back home.
Hello, I'm Woody Durham, Carolina class of '63. Perhaps you know me better as the voice of the Tar Heels for Carolina football and basketball. Today I'm appearing on behalf of another area of the university, the Carolina Reunion Program. Having just served on the gift committee for my class's 25th reunion campaign, I'm proud and honored to have this opportunity to speak to you about ways you can help your class reunion campaign reach its goal. For some of you, this may be your first fundraising activity. Others may have helped in other campaigns for UNC or other community groups. In many ways, soliciting can be as satisfying as it is challenging, and the gifts made to the reunion campaigns benefit tremendously the university's academic programs. In the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you a process for soliciting gifts which experience has shown works and works well. Basically, this process consists of 7 steps that you should follow. The first step is to know about the reunion campaign. Make sure you review all the materials you've been given. The better you know your subject, the more confident and effective you will be. Understand why the University of North Carolina, though a state-assisted university, needs the support of the private sector. Know the goals and the progress of the campaign to date. To the contributor, you are the campaign. Also make sure you're aware of the university's needs and major opportunities for giving. You should understand that reunion gifts can be made to the Chancellor's University Fund, a fund which supports scholarships, professorships, and fellowships. Reunion gifts may also be designated for specific academic programs. Understand the pledge form. Your familiarization with it will make you a far more credible solicitor. And finally, stay in touch with your UNC development officer. Don't hesitate to call to discuss your work or to ask questions. Step number 2 in the process is to make your own commitment first. Your own generous pledge is the best preparation for soliciting pledges from others, for then you're asking prospects to follow your leadership example. Consider how much you can give and how you want to designate your gift. Then make your own pledge and become a member of the team, committed to making this campaign a success. Third, know your prospect. You will receive information which will help you do this. You will want to know your prospect's connection to the university in the past and the level of that support. Experience tells us that calling on your most promising prospects first is the best way to begin. The 4th step in our 7-step process is to make an appointment to see the prospect, and in some cases, the prospect's spouse. Each campaign chairman will send a letter to reunion prospects the first week of the campaign kickoff. This is known as a door opener letter. In this letter, the chairman explains that a classmate will be contacting them soon to discuss their reunion gift. It is important that as little time as possible separate the letter and your phone call asking for a time to meet. We recommend strongly a face-to-face presentation. Make sure that your enthusiasm and commitment come through in that phone conversation and in your meetings. These are the key ingredients to your success. With this approach, your prospect will have had 2 opportunities to think about the campaign before you meet. The personal visit with your prospect is step 5. This is the heart of the solicitation process. Although it may seem obvious, it's important to explain the purpose of your visit along with the goals and the progress of the reunion campaign. Remember that this first meeting will be largely devoted to presenting information and generating interest in the campaign. Early in your discussion, relate your commitment to the campaign by mentioning your role, not only as a volunteer, but also as a donor. Try to explore areas in which the prospect's gift can be personally significant. You may do this by focusing on a particular area of his or her interest. Your suggestions will actually help your prospect understand that there are various ways to give a significant gift that may be paid over 3 to 5 years. Your UNC development officer's knowledge and experience will help you with the many gift-giving options available. After hearing the financial goals of the campaign and the levels of support needed, your prospect will begin considering gift size. You can help by suggesting a figure that will be provided to you by the UNC Development Office. This figure represents the prospect's estimated ability to pledge. Now, don't think you will embarrass a prospect by suggesting a figure. In most cases, the prospect expects and needs this prompting. Also remind the prospect that in addition to cash, they may fund this gift through securities and real or personal property. Prospects may also wish to give to Carolina through bequest, life insurance, charitable trust, and the pooled income fund. If your classmates would like more information, tell them you will ask someone in the development office to contact them. It's likely that your work with the prospect may take 2 or more meetings or phone calls. At the end of the first meeting, try to recap what has and has not been decided. Don't try to force a decision at this point. Rather, emphasize that you would like them to think over the gift you propose and to meet with you again. Leave campaign materials with the prospect, but keep the pledge form until an appropriate pledge has been agreed upon. Of course, you may wish to vary these guidelines based on your personal style or on how well you know your prospect. After your first meeting, talk over your progress with your UNC development officer. This will allow you to share your impressions and reactions. The development officer should be able to help you with questions that come up and with any potentially troublesome areas. Finally, you need to conclude the solicitation during the second and third conversation. Try to bring the gift discussions to a conclusion if the prospect seems ready. This means solidifying the size of the pledge, how the gift would be used, and the method to be used to complete the pledge. Before you complete a pledge form, please refer to the examples in your handbook. Don't forget to congratulate and thank the donor. You may even wish to send a personal note of thanks in addition to the letters of acknowledgement and gift receipt sent from the university. So in summary, these 7 steps provide you with an approach to solicitation that has proven effective year after year. The steps again are: number 1, know about the campaign. 2, make your own pledge first. 3, know your prospect. 4, make an appointment. 5, visit your prospect. 6, talk with your university contact. And number 7, conclude your solicitation and thank properly. This process is outlined for you in greater detail in your volunteer handbook. Please take the time to read and review it carefully as you begin your work. My experience serving on the 25th Reunion Gift Committee last year was very fulfilling in that it gave me an opportunity to be associated with my classmates in giving something back to the very special place that is Carolina. And we were doing our part to keep it special. It left me wanting to do more. The energy and enthusiasm you bring to this project will make you successful. Best wishes to each of you as you embark on this most important reunion campaign.